Hey guys, it is Mershdd. Welcome back to the channel. We are back with another free-to-play episode. As you guys are aware, the Supreme Elhain fusion is currently going on, and as I said last episode, we are not going for it just because we didn't really have the resources for it. We'd just come off the back of basically 2 weeks solid grinding out tournaments and champ training, just trying to get all the rewards and milestone resources there as and when. Um, and now we are in a position where we've had obviously these times two of the three different shard types over the weekend. I did pull the sacred I got for free, but I didn't get to do it in the times two, which was sad. I just wanted to do it because, to be honest, guys, with where the account is at right now, we have a good roster of champions. And as you can see, by the way, I have got Kale over to 6-star, and I've farmed up War Master on him as well. Ruella, I haven't really got around to farming her yet, she's not vital to get to that point right now. But as you can see, we have a good roster of champions at the moment. But we have a lot of champions whose job is going to be to hit, and that's basically it, right? We've got Ignatius who hits people and obviously has the HP burns provokes. You've got Rhonda who is essentially just damage. Deacon is like speed booster utility, and we have Rector for revives and healing. Reliquary Tender is our cleanser, but then Cold Heart you also only use for a bit of turn meter control and again to do damage. Kale, we've got into 6-star purely because he's got poisons, and he's a better poisoner than anybody else that we've got on the account. So he's literally only going to be there for poisons. And then we've got Ruella, who is, again, hits people, does damage. What we need is more utility, more support, just more buff champions. Champions that can put increased defense and increased speed. Ally protection is a massive one that I'm lacking as well. And that's just going to be able to help me actually push through and progress through Clan Boss. Also, a shield champion would be really nice. Like, if I could get a miscreated monster or something, like Ehabad, I would be so happy because it means I could just push on through Spider, which is one of the main areas that I am currently trying to push, but I'm currently struggling with. At the moment, we do have a Spider tournament going. We also have champ training, but honestly, I was on my main account today, and on my main account, I've maxed out the rewards already, quite comfortably. But by the time I'd maxed rewards, everybody else was on 2,000 points maybe. I come onto the free to play, and the top 9 people would currently be second in my main one. Um, it's ridiculous. It is insane. I can't believe it. So because it's so stacked, there's no way I can get a good placing for this tournament. So I kind of feel like even these side rewards, I'm not going for the fusion. So that's these two out of the picture already. Then we've got a little bit of silver, a few anniversary points, and a small soulstone. I would have to get 6,200 points to get the ancient shard and the epic book, and it's just not really worth it. So I'm probably going to skip that tournament. But with the spider one, I do want to skip it as well, to be honest. But the ancient shard is way more attainable, and it's also going to help us farm up some silver because I have burnt some silver recently, trying to actually push on the the spider dungeon, but it may as well be called silver dungeon, to be honest. We are currently stuck at stage 19. I wasted a refill or two yesterday, just really trying to push through 19, just to unlock 20, so that maybe if I build up my champions and get some better gear, we can actually push onto it, but it's just not having it at the moment. So what I have been doing is farming stage 17. I'm getting decent-ish kind of drops. Obviously, it is more energy, and I'm debating maybe dropping down to stage 16, honestly. But we've got it on a 40-second farm. The whole team basically dies, and we rely on Ignatius's HP poison, along with some turn meter control on the main spider. So we've got it on a pretty good farm. So that's what we will be doing today. I'll do all the grinding and stuff after the episode, but I'll just show you how the team is actually working. Excuse me. But yeah, like I said, we literally have 3 champions here that can do turn meter control. Deacon also has Evil Eye, the mastery, to be able to drop turn meter with his A1 on the first A1 on an enemy. And then everyone, by the way, it's Spider. We are not a tanky team. Everybody does die fast. But because we've got Ignatius putting out those irresistible HP burns, and at least the debuff chance on his A3 is fully booked, we do land most of the HP burns, and it's literally just a case of all of them are using their one big like turn meter drop ability, and then the HP burns do the rest. So it's quite easy to get to this point on Spider. Um, However, I guess when you get up to the next stage, you just need a little bit more damage actually on the main Spider. And all of my damage dealers or main ones that are 6-star are Magic Affinity. So it's not been easy. I've tried it with Rhonda. I've tried trying to survive with Rector Draft and Reliquary Tender. I've tried it with Kale as well. But to be honest, Kale was a bit underwhelming. And again, he has Magic Affinity, so he's not going to be able to kill the Spiderlings and utilize his ability as Kale. Again, I maxed him for Clan Boss, not for Spider, so I fully don't expect him to be able to do a job here. But yeah, to be honest, the strategy I just showed you seems like the most likely way for me, and I think this will get a lot easier once I get better damage gear, and I can actually get Cold Heart Smacking. And also potentially getting War Master on Ruella might make a bit of a difference there too. I think the combination of those two, because at the moment Cold Heart, like it's a percent HP skill, so it does a lot of damage, but um, she just doesn't have the attack or crit damage to actually be able to do anything like influential. And also with this affinity in particular, if I'm going to try it again now, I'm just going to wait until I do have these things in place. Just because we did get really close one time, but that was when everything went pretty much perfectly. I think Ignatius landed every single HP burn, which is not easy to do, especially on negative affinity. We had a crit. We had basically crits from everybody as well. War Master procs from Deacon and Ignatius, and Cold Heart for that matter as well. And yeah, it just still wasn't enough. It was so close. So we're just gonna wait and farm up better gear over time before we go for that push. We've got a while till we need to push for Spider 20 anyway. I just wanted to see if I could get it done. In terms of the missions, we're still stuck on this arena Great Hall Medal to 5. We can take this up to level 6 already, and we're just going to need to do probably another half a week's worth of farming at this rate. We have been trying to push arena, but for some reason in this particular bracket, or maybe I'm just getting unlucky, but we're just not finding many 1 or 2 man defenses. And when we do, like I've seen about 5 Heffracks this week with like level 1 food, and it's like I haven't got enough single target damage to kill the Heffrack before killing the food. So yeah, it's not the one right now. There are like fights like these we can do, but again, like I don't know. I'll give it a try just because at this rate, even with like refreshing as often as I can, we still just have a massive overflow of arena medals, and I just don't have that good arena champions because, like I said, I've got good like single target debuffs, and I've got a few like AOE, bit of damage here and there, but nothing really that stands out in arena. Yeah, we had to go for that just because the A3 is the biggest damage ability, and the only way we win this fight is by killing like 2 of them straight away and healing up to full. But yeah, it's rough, man. It is a struggle. It has been a struggle. But the main reason that we are doing this episode today is because, oh yeah, that's the other thing. I did pull the Void Shards as well. I know I said I pulled the Sacred. The Sacred that I pulled outside of ×2 ended up being a dupe. It was Deacon Armstrong again, and you don't really need 2. So he has gone into Faction Guardians. We're going to start trying to build up the epics, at least at that, just because it's free stats. And this early on into an account, you'll take free stats whenever you can get them. We did have, I think, like 3 or 4 Void Shards, maybe. Maybe it's a bit more. I'm not too sure. But we did pull them. It was all trash, apart from this guy, Big Boy Bellower. So the first thing I want to say about that is already with Void Shards, just with the rares, we've got Bellower, we've got Reliquary Tender, and we've got Cold Heart. And Paragon, if you want to include him in that like top tier Void rare bracket. The only one that we are now missing is Renegade. So I think what I'm going to do is keep up this like YOLO mentality, maybe only pull during like shard events or ×2s, just so we're getting something back when we do pull them. But I'm not going to like hardcore save for a fusion at the moment, unless I get like, I don't know. I think for the time being, I just need more champions on the account, because we have like a very one-dimensional champion pool, I guess, at the moment. We don't really have a lot of flexibility and options to play around with. But we've got Bellower, who is honestly huge. I know he is used right the way through to endgame, and honestly, I might build him up just to be my campaign farmer. Have these like 7-second fights instead of anywhere between 8 and 20-second fights. That's the range with Ignatius. It can be 8 seconds, but that's providing he gets like double resets in his masteries. It just doesn't happen that often. But not only that, he's going to be useful in Doom Tower secret rooms. If I put him in a stun set, he's going to be good at controlling waves across like all areas of the game pretty much. And the debuffs he actually brings is nice too. So he's got all AoE abilities. The A1 we'll start with has block active skills buff. Low chance of placing it, but it's handy CC. It could be good for something like Tag Team Arena 2. You've got the A2, which is just AoE decreased speed. Can be useful in like Hydra maybe, or again against waves, keep them going slow. Doom Tower as well. And then the A3, another AoE. When it's ascended, at least, it will attack all enemies. It will end up being booked up to 100% chance of placing decreased attack, as well as the small version of decreased defense. He also has a speed blessing, so again, it's going to be good for faction wars too. Ogre and Tribes is a difficult faction wars to get through, and with Ignatius and now Bellower, I feel like those two could pretty much duo pretty far into it. But yeah, we've got Bellower. That's pretty nice. We're not going to like focus on getting him 6-star straight away, but he will be a 6-star because I know with these missions, and that's also the reason I haven't got Ruella and I did do Kale. I did do Kale because I wanted him for Clan Boss and I wanted to get over 200 accuracy. But I will have to do another Magic Champion. It's not a problem because we do have Magic Champions to choose from. Old Hermit Jorg is probably going to be the main one that we actually end up going for. But what I was saying is with the missions, you need to get these guys up to, or you need to get 4 different champions to level 6-star Ascension, which unfortunately doesn't count towards the ones you've already done. So what we're going to do is just hold off with Ruella. With the next 6-star that we get, whether it's Force or whatever, either way, we're going to hold off on getting them to 6-star Ascension, and we're just going to do it when that mission comes up to save time. But we have that, and then to be honest, like, I don't know, a lot of them seem fine. We can do a lot of it already, and I'm hoping by the time we get towards like this one and this one, we should be in a good spot with the account. But what I'm going to do for now is actually yeet these ancient shards, because we don't have any like insanely good clan boss champions right now. We have like literally none like meta clan boss champions. No block damage, no unkillable, no counter attack, no like godly poisoner, no ally protection, no like reliable decreased defense and decreased attack. We're just lacking so much, and I just feel like I need to pull shards at the moment, because we're very stagnant in Clan Boss. Our damage, even with everybody getting War Master and a bit of a re-gear for Clan Boss, it hasn't gone up much. We are able to, I think we're now just about able to 4-key Nightmare, which is okay, it's good, but I want to get that down to a 2-key, like as soon as possible, and then that's when Ultra Nightmare will potentially become viable. But we need the champions to do so. So we're going to go for it now. We're going to pull these shards and see what we get. We're hoping for some nice epics, honestly. I don't care about legendary champions. Oh, Ator, it's not good. Ator is not a good champion, regardless of the stage of the game. Another provoke, another provoke. I've already got like 3 good provoke champions on the account. I don't need another one. Yeah, he's just very, very underwhelming, and I would advise nobody to invest into Ator. I almost did for Faction Wars on my main account many moons ago, but yeah, I stopped myself thankfully once I got him to 5-star, and then he just became a chicken. Lady Annabelle. Okay, I've heard of her. I haven't ever actually used her myself. No crazy rares at all. I mean, Soulbound Boy is nice, and Witness would be good if it was like super early, but I think we're beyond the part where Witness is going to be good. We do have a Marked. Marked is an interesting one. Block debuffs and increased defense is actually kind of nice. We had her marked very early on in the count and then didn't get one again since. But marked isn't bad. I've seen what YST's like been able to do with her. He ended up 6-starring her because look, decreased defense A1, and then the block debuffs increased defense A2. Honestly, it's my best. She's got the best like skill set out of all the champions on the account so far. So honestly, happy with marked. And let's see what Lady Annabelle does. Okay, she's a port, which is a good sign. A1, each hit heals this champion by 3% of their max HP. Okay, so it's all right. So you could have easily just said 6% after the attack or something, but okay, that's all right. That's a nice little A1. A2, leech and decrease speed, attacks all enemies, and it's 100% chance when booked. But the decreased speed is only if they have less than 50% turn meter. See, if it didn't have that stupid little like condition, it would actually be like a very nice ability. I mean, I guess it's all right for Hydra either way, but even still, it's all right. It's mainly an AoE leech with a chance to put decreased speed out there. Swaps HP with the target ally. If the champion's HP is equal to or higher than the target's after this swap, places revive on death on the target ally. Okay, so she swaps HP with someone on your team, and if her HP is higher than that target after a swap, then that ally gets a revive on death. If the champion's HP is lower than the allies after the swap, places revive on death on herself. And then increase speed on everyone. That's okay. Then passive. Heals this champion by 50% HP whenever an ally or an enemy dies. That's honestly not bad. It's an okay kit. It's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. Not too much else to say. I'll have to do a little bit more research, maybe look at some guides to assess where she's good at and stuff. My first thoughts after seeing her kit is maybe Hydra. Yeah, Hydra, and to be honest, I can't think of where else her kit would be insanely good with. Maybe there's some Doom Tower bosses as well, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, we've got the final 10 shards. We're just hoping for more purple, honest, and we have no silver. Of course we don't. Right, let's just quickly sell some accessories. We're just going to get rid of these 4-star ones because we want to build up these accessories, and we can drop 5 and 6-star ones now, so there's no point. We're also going to go ahead and get rid of any 5-star rare attack accessories. Anything? No? Okay, we'll get rid of that. Okay, like this stuff. We don't want to keep much of it. And honestly, we'll do the same with 6-star, I guess. No, okay. We do not have much. We have been kind of on top of gear cleansing. Okay, that's bad substats. Okay, cool. Got some campaign stuff to get rid of. We'll keep that just because it's 6-star defense percent on Stalwart. It could come into some kind of use in the future. Just because the main stat is so hard to get, I find, for chest plates. Like, I never seem to have good chest plates, even on my main account. Chest plates is like my most sought after bit of gear. But, okay, that's a little bit of silver made quickly. Right, back to the shard pool. Last 10, here we go. Fingers crossed we get something kind. Oh, it's all blue again. One purple. Dude, it's so disappointing. That is heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking. We get one epic and 30 shards, and it's not really what we were after. But we got unmarked, which is okay. It's okay. It's a little bit sour in the mouth. We did pick up the first sort of tier of Elhain fragments, but yeah, I'm still not going to go for that fusion. I just don't have the resources, or to be honest, I don't think Supreme Elhain is going to change anybody's account. I think she's just like an option maybe for if you're like between mid and end game and you need a nuker for arena, and she's probably going to be like a solid option if you haven't pulled like anyone who is really, really good. Like, like the meta nukers, like your Trunders. Trunders like old meta, but like your Barons, your Leoris, Candy, etc., etc. But that is probably going to do it for today's episode, guys. Actually, no, there's one more that I want to do. I have not yet tested Clan Boss since we have got War Master on Kale, because it is that fresh, it's that new. We're going to drop Cold Heart for Kale, because Cold Heart, she's only in the team because she has like the single target nuke ability as well as one poison in her kit, and that somehow made her out damage Fenchie, who has two poisons. Um, but we have got Kale, right? Do we want to set a preset for this? I mean, I think we may as well. Yeah, so just the HP burn skill whenever it's up. Why am I starting with that? I guess to get Leech out soon. But to be honest, no. I think we just want the Terminator to go straight away, get the decreased defense out there, just try and get as much damage in as we can. Rector Giraffe. I actually don't mind starting with the A1 here because it just gives us another chance at getting the decreased attack out, which is just huge. And it drops off anyway, but it's just nice to get out. And the Clan Boss doesn't do enough damage, like the first 10 turns or so, for us to be in any trouble, especially with Deacon's Leech. So we can actually delay this skill. But we are going to put this on first priority, because this can't be used unless like a teammate dies. So we're going to have this on first priority, so as soon as somebody does die, we're picking them back up, and we're just going to keep trying to do that until Rector Giraffe herself falls. Yeah, we don't want to use this on Rhonda because it's an AoE ability that does less single target damage than her A1 would do. Same with the A2, so that's fine. And then Kale. Do I want to turn Acid Rain off just for the sake of landing another poison? I think I do, Yeah, I definitely do. We just want to be A1ing and A3ing as often as possible. Right, and then that'll be it. We do have a defense aura with Ignatius. Do I swap that for the speed one for Deacon? You know what, we've got two keys, so we'll test it both ways. We'll test it both ways and see how much of a difference it actually makes, having a little bit more speed versus a little bit more survivability. But yeah, I'm not going to manual it because I'm not somebody who really enjoys manualing Clan Boss. Like, I'll do it if it's to set up for a full auto team after that point, but yeah, I don't get much enjoyment out of sitting there for 5 to 15 minutes just like thinking about the best way to do it. It's Clan Boss, everybody knows how it works. Um, Especially when I don't have the champions to really like be able to mid-max effectively either. It just doesn't seem like there's much added value. Maybe an extra mil damage, but it is what it is. And plus, I'd rather have it on auto because time is very hard to find when you are playing Raid Shadow Legends, especially if you're playing it on two accounts and you're working 9 to 5. It's going to be auto most of the time, so I'm not going to bother. But just looking through this, I feel like Kale is going to increase our damage a lot, honestly. Like, he has War Master, same as what Cold Heart would have. However, he's just bringing like a poison every turn, it feels like. Okay, there's two poisons. It's huge. It is huge. Kale could be the reason that it drops down to a 3 key. I don't want to like get too far ahead of myself. I'm still very hesitant to be too excited about the damage, but this is the first time I have been able to put out like 3 poisons from one champion on a clan boss. Very early on, I think I had like an Outlaw Monk when I had my Fenchie, and I used both of them. And even then, Kale is already like matching just the amount of poisons just in himself. Dude, this could have gone so much different if I started off with Kale as the starter champion. I'd be very happy. But hey ho, we got him in the end thanks to the Kale's Path event. Happy days. And yeah, we are just getting a good amount of damage out on those poisons, honestly. There goes Brimstone out from Ignatius. Love it. Smite is still broken once you can land it at least. So I mean 250k. That is insane. That's what, like 3 or 4 poison buffs or debuffs within Brimstone damage wise. That's crazy. It's crazy. Like it's just landing brimstone. It's like, yeah, here, have another 500,000 damage for free. It's crazy. It's crazy, but we are starting to get to the point now. To be honest though, what I'm thinking is that if I can get an increased defense or a strengthening champion, um, I mean potentially marked is a good candidate because she'll also bring in decreased defense, so it'll be up more consistently than what Deacon can put it out on. Just because Deacon, if he misses that decreased defense, you've got to wait 3 turns to be able to put it back up. And it's quite a while when you're talking clan boss and you just want to get your damage in a quick sort of time period. Um, but yeah, what I'm thinking is because Deacon has the leech, and then we have Kale, Ignatius, and Rhonda all in lifesteal with War Master. I feel like Rector healing isn't actually going to be like too important. Like it's nice to have another sort of like source of healing, but I feel like I would rather have somebody with increased defense and or strengthen, or even shields, just so we can actually buy time for them just to heal up themselves. Because Rector Draft doesn't do too much damage, like herself, like none at all. And I know Marked won't either, but she will make it so these guys stay alive. And I know Rector Draft has Perfect Veil, which will reduce like the AoE attacks, but it doesn't reduce it as much as increased defense would do. And increased defense will increase Ignatius's damage output as well, which would be nice. But by the way, guys, we've just done our best ever Nightmare Key already. Yeah. I mean, okay, it's not the best key ever. I think we did get very lucky before, and we hit like a 10 mil key. But other than that, they all the keys are between where, well, at least were between 8 and 9. I also changed up Ignatius's masteries. We went from the defense tree as the secondary one to support. We went to the support one just because we want the accuracy. We wanted spirit haste. And this is like a better build for Spider, which is where Ignatius is going to be like our main champion in. So because of that, we have lost out on deterrence, which is like a counter attack. We've lost out on some defense, and some other like damage mitigation. Um, so because of that, Ignatius isn't going to be putting up as big numbers in Clan Boss, which is fine because ideally, in the long run, like we're never going to be able to bring Ignatius into Ultra Nightmare. Like we could make it work with the right champions. At least I could on my main account, but ideally we don't want to be because he only really brings a HP burn, which will be on a 5-turn cooldown, and Brimstone. Whereas I don't know, like the Brimstone is really nice. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like a Farrakhan already comes in and does a better job than him. He would also have a HP burn for 2 turns on a lower cooldown. He will have an ally attack that gets everybody in. That's War Master procs and buffs on everybody, and he'll bring decreased defense on the A1. So Farrakhan's already would be like a much better option. We just don't have a Farrakhan. If I get a Farrakhan, man, I will be the happiest guy. Like I would be happy not pulling any other epics really. I'd just start hoarding shards at that point because Farrakhan alone is just like I love him. He's a clan boss god. Hence why he is the only champion I have yet. Well, I have currently done a guide on. But right, we did that. I think that was about 9. Oh, actually, I can check it. I want to say it was like 9.2. Was it? Yeah, 9.23 mil. All right, let's do the same team, but we are going to swap around these two. I'm going to put Deacon in the lead spot with Ignatius second. Ignatius, first choice A3. Deacon, first choice A3 as well. Cool. Right. I'm not going to make you guys sit through another clan boss run. So I'm just going to skip to the end of this one and I'll catch you when it's done. Okay guys, I'm back, and what I said before about breaking our like damage record with 1 key on Nightmare, it wasn't true before, but it definitely is now. We are almost at 11 million damage, and all that I had to change was bringing in the speed aura of Deacon. I'm guessing it just means that we got to take a few extra turns, got a few extra War Master procs in, maybe we had some better RNG with Smite. I didn't really watch the run, but look, all in all, I am very happy with that. With being able to do 11 million damage per key means that we are comfortably going to be able to 4 key Whereas at the moment, or just before, it was like a struggle. Like we could 4-key, but it was quite tight. But it also means that we're going in the right direction now. I think once we can replace Rector Drath with potentially like another high damage option, even potentially another poisoner, I could maybe bring in Cold Heart, or even I could still go back to that Fenchy option and just again bring in some poison debuffs. Just because at the moment we are nowhere near filling that turn meter, the debuff meter. God, I can't talk. I'm still lost for words that we did quite so much damage. But look, this video has been going on for a while, so without further ado, guys, I'm going to end the video there. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for being patient with me. Hope you guys have had a lovely weekend, have a lovely week to come. And yeah, I hope the raid gods treat you nicer than they have me today. But yeah, without further ado, thank you, take care, and peace.